So I have hundreds of agents every month asking about my coaching program. And for the first time ever, and probably the last, I'm gonna bring you behind the curtain, where I'm gonna show you just a sneak peek of a most recent training that I did for my coaching students about lead conversion. This way you guys can make the best decision for yourself and for your business. This one's gonna be an amazing session, and I hope you enjoy.
Like I was alluding to in the very beginning here, for those who are live, and again, remember all these sessions are recorded, so if you do miss it for anything, you can always watch the recording. My intention, my goal, my dream is to help as many people as possible make a ton of freaking money in the real estate business so that they don't have to rely on other people for their freedom. Right? I want to show you how you can create your own freedom in your life. Like we talked about, there's 3 ways to increase a business. I'm going to talk about those 3 real quick. Okay. So the only 3 ways to increase your business. Okay. Number 1 is increase the number of customers that you work with. Increase the number of customers, which is AKA the amount of clients you work with on any given year. That's number 1. Number 2 is increase the unit of sale. Every single transaction, right? I don't care if it's a coffee shop or if it's a real estate business like we're experiencing here. Anytime you can increase the unit of sale, you make more money. And the 3rd way you increase a business is by increasing the repurchase rate from every single one of your customers. You want to be getting every one of those clients. You want to be able to work with them on a more consistent basis. So there's only 3 ways to increase a business. That's it. You either work with more people, increase the average deal size, or you increase the repurchase rate from those existing clients. Now, what's interesting though, is there's actually 7 key metrics that increase any real estate business across the board. So now what I want to show you here is just how you can systematically and strategically and simplistically increase your lead conversion. But I want to talk about it real quick. What is lead conversion? What is lead conversion? Well, lead conversion, this is the definition, because I want to make sure we get this really simplistic. Lead conversion is just the process of taking a lead that you've generated or a prospective customer, right? And turning it into an actual customer, aka somebody who exchanges money with you in your business. Now, what is your lead conversion rate? Well, it is the ratio, right? Is the metric used to measure the effectiveness of a business marketing and sales efforts in converting those leads into paid customers. That's it. That's all that is. And we're going to talk about today about how to just increase that conversion ratio. And Virgil, I'm not picking on you, but you're going to be you're working with me today, right? You're going to be my co-host. You wrote that you generated 40 leads a month. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay, cool. 40 leads a month. That means about 10 leads a week. Okay, great. Now, you're closing on average 2 deals per month, correct?
Yes.
Okay, great. That means if everyone does the math really quickly, right? Everyone does the math. You can take out your handy dandy calculator, which is 2 divided by 40. And what do? You get 5. Now, again, what you do is you multiply that by 100. You get 5, and then just click the little itty bit, like 5%. Right? 5% conversion ratio, which means on average, you generate 40 leads and you're converting 5 of those a month. Now, watch how cool this math works. Watch how insane this is. So what's going to happen is, let's just say, Virgil, because you're going to have your handy dandy calculator. All I want you to do now is that we're going to increase the conversion rate we're going to take the conversion from 5% to 10%. We're not going to change any other aspect of your business. You're still going to generate 40 leads a month. You're still doing everything the exact same. All we're going to do is, if we can just increase your conversion ratio from 5% to 10%, let's check out what your business does. So all you're going to do is you're going to take your 40 leads, the 40 in your calculator, and you're going to multiply it by 0.1 or 10%. What happens?
4 deals.
Great. So that means you just doubled your business and you did absolutely nothing different. On average, how much money do you make per deal? I know you have an average commission check size of what, 4 or 5 grand we talked about last time?
Yeah, it's like 4 or 5 grand. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's take 5 grand. Now you take $5,000, your average commission check, which obviously we're going to work on improving as well. But take $5,000 and multiply that by 24 deals. Increasing your conversion from 5 to 10% is worth $120,000 to your bottom line. I know this is easier said than done. I'm going to show you today listen, maybe we don't get to a full double on your conversion ratio, but I'm going to show you that even if hypothetically, all you did was increase your conversion ratio by 20%, which is 40 leads times 6%. That's 2.4 deals a month instead of 2, which means that will average over a 12-month basis of 28.8 instead of 24, which means on average, he's going to close an additional 4 or 5 deals. 4 to 5 deals times $5,000 in average commission check to his business is worth $20,000 to $30,000. Overall, that's still a 20 or 30% increase in his business, and he changed absolutely nothing else. I told you there's 7 metrics. This is one metric. Imagine if you increased every single one of those metrics by 10, 20, 30, 40%. Your business all of a sudden does a double, does a triple, does a 4x, 5x in a very short period of time. So today we're just going to talk about lead conversion. And obviously in future sessions, we're going to talk about the remaining 7. Sound cool? Now, when it comes to improving lead conversion, because lead conversion is more simplistic than we understand, but I want you to know that there's only a few ways to truly improve it. Let's just treat this like something that you've never done before. How would you get better at something you've never done before?
Do more of it.
You said do more of it?
Yeah.
I 100% agree with you. That is a great answer. One of the main things that we're going to talk about when it comes to lead conversion is that most people spend too little time on lead conversion. So what this means is that every single one of you going forward, every single one of you for the rest of this year, I challenge you to spend 2 hours blocked off every single day just on lead conversion. Just on lead conversion. This is not calling a new prospect you've never spoken to before. This is just on leads that you've already generated and you're going to be following up with them. Because lead conversion is just doing better at follow-up. That's really what this is. But I'm going to show you strategies and techniques that I've used to help me increase my conversion percentage, my ratio, every single year without fail. Number one is time blocking duration. So that means right now, whatever amount of time you're doing it, I recommend that you're doing it for 2 hours, and I'll even give you the hours you're going to do it. You're either going to do it from 11 to 1 or 12 to 2. It depends on how early you prospect in the morning. If you start prospecting at 8 o'clock in the morning, you can do 3 hours or 4 hours of prospecting in the morning, and then you do your follow-up for 2 hours following. Now you're going to do this on a working lunch. Because in my philosophy, if your business isn't where you want it to be, there's no reason on planet Earth that you should be going out with your colleagues to get some lunch. You're just wasting 40 minutes or an hour and a half. It's just absolutely not worth it. What I will allow, or what I would recommend, is that if you are in a business, where your business is making enough money, sure, go out and go meet a client. Make it a working lunch. Number two, and this is going to be a long one, how to increase your productivity. How do we increase your productivity when it comes to your follow-up? Who brought up CRM systems? Danny, I think that was you in the previous call. Correct? We're going to talk about CRMs for 15 seconds. What your CRM system needs to do is 2 things. Number one, allow you to schedule a follow-up time with that individual. So I take my lead and all my contact information, all my notes and everything, and I shove it into my lead and into my CRM system. I put it in my CRM. That CRM must do one of or both of these 2 things. One, I can set a task to call that person at some point in the future, and it will remind me when to call them. And the second thing your CRM must do is it must have automation software integrated in the software. And what that means is that you can put them on a follow-up campaign where Henry or you per se is not doing all of the follow-up. It's sending automated text messages for you. It's sending automated emails for you. It's sending ringless voicemails for you. If it doesn't just do the bare minimum, where even if it's just text and email for you, for the leads that are in your CRM, you need a new CRM. And if you're wondering what software we use REI Reply. REI Reply is a software that we use. We use it on the commercial side. You could also use something called Brivity on the residential side. They both do both of those things. They set tasks and they have automation software built in. Productivity point number 2, you need higher quality leads and spend time on higher quality leads and less time on not so good leads. The first 30 minutes to an hour of your follow-up will be on the hottest of hot leads you have. That's the first 30 minutes to an hour. Because you want to be as productive as possible. And if hypothetically, all you're doing is calling people who have absolutely zero interest in selling their property, but you took down their contact information anyways, and you just keep calling these people who have zero interest in selling their property, what do you think your conversion rate is going to be? But if you spent a large majority of the time on the hottest leads during your follow-up session, your conversion ratio would be higher. So you want to be spending more time on better leads. Higher quality leads will create a higher conversion ratio. Another key point, I want you to realize that this entire industry, I don't care if you're on the resi side or the commercial side, the entire industry, your entire business is about how many seller leads you can generate. Obviously, I have some people on here who like tenant rep. We're talking specifically about the landlords then. If you are talking about seller, right, investment deals, selling commercial real estate or residential real estate, you have to be a seller prospector. So if you have a bunch of buyer leads you're following up with, again, your conversion ratio is going to be lower. 80% of your time should be on seller leads and as hot as seller leads as possible. Now let's talk about how on planet Earth do I actually improve my conversion ratio, and it boils down to a few things when it comes to follow. How do I do better at follow-up, right? That's the big old question. Well, there's only so many ways to do so. Number one, you call them back sooner, which means instead of, hey, I'm going to follow up with this person in 60 days, I'm going to cut that in half. Like someone tells you right off the bat, you just got off the phone with John, the seller, and John says, hey, listen, call me back in 60 days. Call me back in 2 months. Instead of calling back in 2 months, what do you think you should do? Call them back sooner. Well, how soon should I call somebody back? My rule of thumb is 50% of the time, right? Twice as fast. So if they say call me back in 60 days, I'm going to call you back in 30. And you're like, Henry, what on planet Earth would I say? It's going to go just something like this. This is a great script, which, by the way, this is recorded, so you can rewatch it. You don't have to write it down, but I want you just to listen. Hey, John, this is Henry with XYZ Real Estate. The reason I was reaching out to you was that we spoke 30 days ago, and you told me to call you back in about 60 days. I just wanted to touch base and see how you and the family were doing in the meantime. That's all. You are reiterating that they told you to call them back in 60 days. And then the ending part of the script is, I wanted to touch base and see how you and the family are doing in the meantime. And I just wanted to confirm that selling the property in 30 days was still part of the game. That's it.